Today, we're diving into the economics of your most valuable and, yeah, most limited resource. We're talking about your mental bandwidth.
So let me ask you a question and be honest. Have you ever stood in a grocery store aisle for like 5 solid minutes just trying to save 50 cents? You're standing at 2 jars of pasta sauce, they're basically identical, and you're weighing the pros and cons for pocket change? I think we've all been there, right?
Well, meet Alex. Alex does this all the time. Now, Alex is smart, totally frugal, always on the hunt for a good deal. But Alex has a hidden problem, and it's costing way more than any 50-cent saving. So let's start with a classic. We'll call it Alex's pasta problem, and the hidden cost of what feels like such a simple choice. Okay, so picture it. Alex is in the pasta aisle. Brand A is $3.50. Brand B is $3. Alex spends 5 full minutes debating this. That's 5 minutes of precious brain power, of focus, of decision-making, all to save 50 cents. That tiny moment in the supermarket, that is a perfect example of what we call the bandwidth trap. Let's get into why your brain's processing power is a finite resource you really can't afford to just waste. Okay, so the key concept here is mental bandwidth. Seriously, think of it like the RAM on your computer. You only have so much of it. It's the limited space your mind has for paying attention, making decisions, and, actually solving problems. Every little trivial thing you agonize over just eats up a piece of it. And this is the core of the issue, right? We spend so much of that limited bandwidth on these low-value decisions. Pasta sauce, driving across town for cheaper gas, clipping coupons. And that means the high-bandwidth decisions, the ones that can actually change your life, like negotiating your salary or starting that business, they just get the leftovers, the mental scraps. And this goes way beyond pasta sauce. Let me give you a bigger example. Alex once drove 30 minutes out of the way just to save $1.50 on a tank of gas. Now, on the surface, that feels like a win. A saving is a saving, right? But was it really a saving? I mean, when you actually factor in everything that was spent, not just the money, what was the real cost? Okay, let's do the math here because this is kind of wild. If we say Alex's time is worth a pretty standard $25 an hour, that half-hour drive just cost $12.50 in time. Add in the cost of gas to even get there, then subtract that $1.50 saving. Alex didn't save money. They actually lost almost $15 on that deal. And more importantly, they burned 30 minutes of time and mental energy that are gone forever. This realization was a total turning point for Alex. It led to a whole new way of thinking, a framework for taking back that mental energy. It's a simple but powerful idea, the $20 rule. And the rule could not be simpler, but it is so effective. It's basically this. If a purchase is under $20, just buy the one you want and move on. That's it. No debate, no overthinking. Just make the choice and get your brain power back.
Because here's the magic. This one tiny little rule frees up your mind for the decisions that actually matter, the $20,000 decisions. It's about consciously deciding not to waste your best thinking on the small stuff.
So what happens when you actually do that? How did Alex reinvest all that newfound mental bandwidth? Let's look at what happened when Alex started focusing on the real prize. It really was a chain reaction. First, small decisions just became effortless. No more drama in the grocery store. Second, Alex started noticing they had way more mental energy at the end of the day. And step 3, the best part, Alex started using that energy to focus on something huge, planning that side business they'd been putting off for years. And this brings us to the big question, not just for Alex, but for you. What is your next big idea actually worth? So the key takeaways here are pretty simple. First, your mental bandwidth is your single most valuable asset, period. Second, spending it to chase tiny savings isn't just a bad deal, it's a net loss. And finally, the whole point is to protect your best, sharpest thinking for your biggest goals. So I'll just leave you with this one last question to think about. The next time you find yourself debating a tiny saving, just ask yourself, what great idea, what major goal, what $20,000 decision are you trading for pennies?